Hey folks, what you're going to hear in this video is a snippet from a debate I had with a couple of atheists, one of whom was a fellow known by the name of ArronRa on YouTube. He's a very outspoken atheist, very anti-God, anti-creationist, evolutionist atheist. Debating atheists on their ground is always very uncomfortable. It's very difficult because they constantly interrupt you, overrun what you're talking, and ArronRa got extremely rude during this conversation, and he was just unable to control himself and not. It got to a point after about 30 minutes into this discussion, just got to the point where he absolutely couldn't control himself, and almost everything that I said, he started talking over me in a very loud voice, being exceedingly rude. Does not know how to conduct himself like a gentleman at all. Cannot control himself emotionally. So, debating atheists whenever they're in control of the chat is a very negative sort of a thing. It's a bad experience in a way because they will constantly interrupt you, overrun you, and not give you the opportunity to speak when you're supposed to have it. You know, they play this game a lot. I've been on their atheist talk shows and radio shows and debated with them. It's always been that case. That's always been the case. They always play this, well, you're on our ground now, so we can treat you bad. We're going to overrun what you have to say. I'm not going to be a decent moderator. You're not going to get a chance to speak when you're supposed to. And if somebody interrupts you constantly, I'm not going to do anything about it. That's the kind of thing you run into when you debate atheists on their ground. And it's why I've probably decided now, I think, to never do it again. I'll debate them, but not on their ground where they have control over the conversation, in a medium where they have control of it, which probably is going to preclude me from being able to debate any of them anymore because they're afraid to do it when they don't have control over you and can't overrun what you have to say and interrupt you and stop you from talking and, you know, preventing you from making assertions and whatnot. They don't like that. They have to be in control. They really, really want to be in control where they can manipulate and overrun what you have to say and kind of dog you down. They try to dog you down. And so I probably won't be doing much debate with atheists anymore, since I'm not going to do on their ground anymore, I don't believe. Now, in this audio clip from this debate, you're going to hear ArronRa put forth an idea that is just very ridiculous. I stated that the closest spiral galaxies to the Earth are younger than the farthest ones we can observe from the Earth. And ArronRa made the mistake of thinking that I was referring to galaxies which are in the opposite direction of us from the central point, central area of the universe. Now, I understand that the universe is supposedly expanding like a loaf of raisin bread, and that there is no actual center point, but there must be, of course, a central area of the universe from which it began to expand. Now, ArronRa apparently doesn't think too well on his feet, because if I referred to the farthest spiral galaxies that can be observed from Earth, they are going to be galaxies the astronomers say are near the end of what is observable in the universe. Not that we can see to the very end of the universe, but it's going to be near the end of what is observable in the universe. And this is nowhere near the center of the universe, the central area. This is supposedly very far out in the universe and farther from the Earth. So ArronRa is wrong when he says in this audio clip, he says that the ones closest to us only appear to be older because they're farther away, which is ridiculous, because I didn't say galaxies which are farther. I said the farthest observable spiral galaxies, the farthest ones we can observe. They are considered older according to astronomers. ArronRa gets his ideas mixed up and doesn't think too well on his feet, it seems. Anyway, you'll catch his error yourself. Then I'll play a little bit of video from a secular astronomer, I think from Hubblecast, and in which you'll hear them say exactly what I was referring to, that the spiral galaxies and other kinds of galaxies that we observe The farthest ones we observe from the Earth are much older, it is believed, than the ones closest to us. And ArronRa somehow does not grasp what I am saying. Anyway, enjoy. As for the age of the universe using the distance light problem, there are two very great problems for the uniformitarianist regarding that, because there are two things that throw that idea into a bucket with the young Earth creation model. So I can say that there is no, that the distance and light problem is just as much a problem for you as it is for young Earth creation. So, and here's two things that do that. And one is the existence of the properties of spiral galaxies. Spiral galaxies, we've discovered, spin 10 times faster on the inside than the outside. Now, if they were billions of years old, they would have thrown themselves apart. That's why evolutionists apply the idea that dark matter is magically surrounding the galaxy and holding it together in its place.
Help me out with something here, Neff. I got a quick question for you, Neff.
Hold on, please let me finish. And
what is the nearest of these spiral galaxies to us?
The problem
I have to ask how we got from dating methods to spiral galaxies.
Hang on, guys. Hang on. One at a time, please. One at a time. Neff, continue.
If it was billions of years old, it should have wound itself up in the center, because there are spirals. They look like a vortex, and thrown itself apart at the outside. That's why astronomers speculate that dark matter is holding it together. They need that to hold it together. Now, it only gets worse because the farthest spiral galaxies that we observe from the Earth look just like the ones closest to us. Now, these were supposedly created earliest in the Big Bang, and they're billions of years older. Now, why haven't they wound themselves up or flung themselves
Because
up?
they're not billions of years older.
Can I comment about dark?
Right, so I could say if they were 6,000 years old, they have not had enough time to wind up. Or
from our perspective, the ones further away appear to be older, but that doesn't mean that they actually are older. They appear to be older because they're further away and because it takes light time to travel to us.
Right, and so the problem exists for the light distance thing, and you just give us another reason why.
These multi-wavelength observations identified tens of thousands of galaxies. To get a full understanding of the history and development of galaxies over the vast stretch of the universe's history, we need to be able to pin down their distances more precisely, to fix them in cosmic time. As these galaxies are so far away, the light waves we see from them today started their journey up to about 13 billion years ago. Now, to make clear ArronRa's error, understand that the astronomers you just heard from Hubblecast stated that the farther galaxies that we observe, the farthest ones we observe from the Earth, are older, much older. They were created early in the Big Bang. Imagine the supposed Big Bang. I don't believe in a Big Bang, I believe in a big creation. However, the universe is expanding, it seems. But ArronRa somehow thought that I was referring to galaxies which are closer to the center of the universe than the farthest ones. He doesn't listen well. He doesn't think well on his feet. I said the farthest ones we observe from the Earth. And this is what you heard this Hubblecast astronomer or spokesperson refer to. The farthest ones we observe from the Earth, which they believe were created 13 billion years ago, during the early part of the expansion of the universe. They were, therefore, they are much older than the spiral galaxies closest to us. But ArronRa didn't understand. Atheists make such mistakes as this because they're desperate to argue against what you have to say. And instead of thinking clearly about what they have to say, they often jump right in with a false assumption, which they always do, regarding their whole worldview, their philosophy, their pseudoscience, etc. And so ArronRa, in his desperation to refute me, made the same mistake. He jumped in headlong into the swimming pool without any water in it, because he assumed something opposite of what I had stated. If he learned to listen more, instead of try to talk over someone and interrupt, he would be much easier person to debate with. He would make more cohesive arguments. He wouldn't make this kind of ridiculous error.